Good morning. Welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, or on Twitter you can find me at Razzle11Grides. Going to take a look at some pitching options for today, Saturday, May 13th. We have an 8-game day slate and a 6-game main slate. At least that's what DraftKings has it divided into. And we'll take a look at DraftKings just because that is where a majority of my action falls. As always with FanDuel, you can always cut my pitcher pool probably in half, basically, just because a lot of the lower priced and tiered guys just don't have the upside we need on FanDuel. With the big Ks and the quality start bonuses. But let's dig into the pitching slate for the day action. Larger day slate on DraftKings. So take a look here. Favorite two guys at the top, McClanahan and Joe Ryan. If you've read my content before, you'll learn that McClanahan is one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. Even against the Yankees, I'm not too concerned. He's yet to allow more than 2 runs in a start this season. His walks have creeped up a little bit, which is a little annoying. Hasn't showcased a 30-plus game yet, but he's been so strong. Has 20-plus in all but one start this season. Had just 17 in that one non. But I feel like if it wasn't a blowout at the time, he would have pitched another 2 innings, based on pitch count numbers, 1 to 2 innings, and he would have crossed that 20-point fantasy mark. So McClanahan, even against the Yankees, even on the road, just always going to be one of my top plays. Joe Ryan, throwing the ball really well. Allowed some early hits last game against Cleveland, settled in. Strikeouts weren't there. He does have some off strikeout games once in a while, but then he can bounce back with double-digit strikeouts. Cubs, not really a lineup that I'm afraid of, so Joe Ryan at home, definitely going to be one of my favorite options on the slate. Now we kind of go below. I'm going to be fading Bryce Elder and Nestor Cortez. I am just not using pitching against Tampa Bay, especially left-handed pitchers right now, with the way that they have hit them this season. And Cortez himself has not looked all that great overall. He does have a couple 20-point fantasy starts, but aside from that, he just hasn't been sharp. I don't really think he's the pitcher that he showcased last year. He bounced around prior to last year. I just don't know that he is, this consistent number 2 starter in the major leagues. So, not somebody I'm using at all today. It shouldn't come as a surprise considering he is facing Tampa Bay. Elder, throwing the ball pretty well as a starter for the Braves. I'm just not using a starter against Toronto. That's really what it comes down to, especially in Toronto. I'll side with the Toronto Bats. If Elder beats them, he does. But I should be able to make up for that by utilizing, Ryan, McClanahan, and these 2 guys that are below Elder and Cortez, and Alcantara and Bryce Miller today. Bryce Miller, the rookies, look really impressive. Strikeouts are there. He is a fly ball pitcher, so there are going to be games where home runs bite him. It's been at the 81 to 85 pitch mark. I think it's been more the fact that it's 6 innings. So I guess I really wouldn't expect him to go 7 innings at all. My guess is that Seattle is going to baby him a little bit. Not too much, but I guess I could see him, approaching 90 pitches if it comes to it. So plenty of upside, great matchup. Not much can be said, negatively, other than at some point rookie starters generally hit a little bit of a wall after, a start or 2 of great success. They kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I just don't know that start happens today. Alcantara, the reigning Cy Young winner in the National League, tried to get another complete game shutout last time out, but gave up 2 runs in the ninth. Great matchups. I mean, Cincinnati has been able to heat up a little bit at the plate of late, but they still are a pretty weak offense, especially away from home. I believe this game has the lowest total on the slate at 7. Give me the reigning Cy Young winner against a not great offense. Pretty simple for me there. So that's 4 out of the top 6 we're planning to go pretty heavy on. Outside of them, I don't really see much to like. Chris Sale has upside. St. Louis should be better against left-handed pitching than they are, but I don't know if we can trust Sale right now. And it looks like my DraftKings player cards just don't want to load up. So we'll just move on without that. But Lucchese probably going to carry some ownership against Washington. I'm just not really going to go there. He overachieved in start 1 of the year, and I think everybody's been chasing that start. I was on him start 1. I was on him start 2. But then I realized, how dumb it was to chase that first start. So I just don't want to go back to him. Not going to be interested in him today at all. I'm going to let other people get him. If he does it, then he does. But the only other guy down here that I'm really considering, actually, there might be 2. John Gray against Oakland. We've seen Oakland struggle a bit. I think he can get it done a little bit. Coming off of a strong start again after he had a rough stretch after getting hit with that line drive in that Houston start. His next 3 starts were pretty rough. But then he went into Seattle and shut them down. Bunch of strikeouts. Seems like a pretty solid spot. His 1 start against Oakland was rough. He did walk 5. But that was the start right after, getting 1 extra day of rest, but right after taking that line drive off the elbow. I'm going to give him a pass on that one. I'm going to go back to John Gray, especially at this price, the $6,800 price tag, considering we started out the season paying $9,200 for him. I am all about it. He just dropped almost a 31 spot and dropped $900 in price tag. So definitely John Gray for me. The only guy I'm considering is Hayden Wesneski. Has allowed 1 run in 4 of his last 5 starts. The Twins strike out quite a bit, and the offense is ice cold. So I feel like we have to have Wesneski in our player pool. And right now I may make a call and say that I'm going to make sure I go overweight on him. It is a little early yet as I dig in and we see some lineups, but we can add these couple cheap guys to our 4 guys here up at the top. Gives us a pretty solid pitcher pool. 6 pitchers for an 8-game slate. A little lower than I might normally go, but I don't want to stretch to add guys, and I think that's some of the mistakes that some people make. They feel like they have to then force in other guys to get exposure to other spots. I'm just not willing to sacrifice just to add more names to my list. If I feel like there's guys just not in a great spot, I'm not going to use them. Barrios has been pretty strong at home, but I'm not using him against Atlanta. If he beats me, that's fine. I should be able to get, even if he has a strong game, I should be able to get that out of, one of the few guys above him in price. And if he has a mediocre game, I should be able to match that with a John Gray or Wesneski. So I'm not too worried about that. Now that we're 9 minutes in, let's just switch over to the main slate. The main slate has some rough pitching, so this one's going to be tougher. It's one we're going to have to dig into more as the day goes on. Something as simple as just seeing the lineups that are posted may help or remove a guy from consideration for us. At the top, Gallen is going to be the top guy on the slate. Urias, definitely worth using. Wasn't sharp against San Diego last time out, but still held them down. Was great against Philly the start before that. There's a route to a GPP winning score and him being the highest scoring SP on the slate. Dylan Cease is going to find himself in my fade group. He just looks atrocious. And at this point, I need him to do it multiple starts in a row before I get back on the Cease train. So I will be fading Cease. Probably painful, but I'm going to do it. DeSclafani, haven't really decided if I'm going to fade or play yet. Has had some strong starts this year and has had some head scratchers. I generally like this Arizona offense against right-handed pitching. So right now my lean would be to fade him along with Cease and then go with a guy like Tyler Wells. Scares me. Wells isn't some lock or anything, but Pitt's offense is regressing, and Wells has had some strong starts. So I think he is definitely worth considering. Musgrove just shut down, this Dodgers offense. So I think we have to consider him at the price point, but he's not somebody I want to go super heavy on. The Dodgers have crushed right-handed pitching. A couple other names. Ranger Suarez in Coors. I'm debating it yet. He's made 3 minor league rehab starts. Topped out at 5 innings in his last start, and actually looked pretty solid. I'm just not sure I want to use a guy coming back off the IL to make his first start of the season in Coors. That's something that I'm really gonna have to play around with. But given the weakness of the pitching options on this slate for me, he might be in play. I think one of the 2 pitchers in this Kansas City-Milwaukee matchup could surprise enough. I just don't know if I want to rely on them. I think Hauser's probably in the best spot, obviously. Greinke could put up something like he did against Baltimore, and it wouldn't shock me. He's just not going to get many Ks. So I think I would rather go up to Hauser. I might even be more willing to gamble with Brandon Bielak against an ice-cold White Sox team. That one feels dirty. Bielak feels a lot more volatile than a Zach Greinke. So they neither of them might make my pitcher pool for tonight. Despite us having access to 14 games on slates, my overall pitching pool might only be 10 deep, which is pretty low given the amount of teams playing. But we do have to make some decisions from there. As the day goes on, we might add or subtract a guy here or there. Based on lineups, based on weather updates, that sort of thing. So if you like what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so that you're alerted of every video we drop here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, join the Discord, get access to all of our tools. I will drop links in the description below. Promo code RAZ, R-A-Z, for 10% off. And as usual, best of luck, everybody.